Welcome to the highlights of our Old Master sale. We're in London in our galleries in Pall Mall. One of the earliest pictures we have in the sale is by Francesco Marmitta, which is this splendid work here. Marmitta was from Parma in Renaissance Italy, born in the late 15th century, and this is one of his largest and most impressive paintings. He was known predominantly as a metal worker and illustrator of illuminated manuscripts. So this work is really quite a departure, and the most comparable work to this by him is in the Louvre in Paris. Like this work, the picture in the Louvre depicts the Madonna and Child, flanked by two figures. With ours, we just have one figure flanking the Madonna and Child, and you can see the Christ Child is looking up to a figure on the left, and you can just catch a glimpse here of a hand. So intriguingly, the picture would have been squarer, but it's an incredible survival nonetheless, in remarkably good condition for a work painted in the late 15th century. I particularly love the rich colouring on the fabrics and also in the wonderful rich blue sky. Another highlight of our sale was painted 250 years after the Marmitta picture. This is by Richard Patten, a maritime painter, and it depicts George III reviewing the fleet at Spithead. What I love about this picture is that it captures a moment in time. The fleet is gathered here. Admiral Pye was Vice Admiral Pye until George III promoted him only a few hours before, and here is Admiral Pye aboard the Royal Oak firing a salute in honour of George III. George III is on the Barfleur, a celebrated British warship, 90-gun second-rate warship that saw action after this event in the American War of Independence, in the French Revolutionary Wars, and also the Napoleonic Wars. It's the detail and the fineness that is so good about this. You've got the detail of the flags, you have the Union flag, the Royal Standard and the Admiralty flag, and lots of little rowing boats in the foreground, which all animate the scene and give it a real sense of movement and action. Patten was a fine maritime painter, but arguably this is one of his masterpieces. Another 18th century highlight of the sale is the portrait behind me by Francesco Renaldi. He was Italian by birth but lived in England, and probably is most celebrated for his group portrait of the artist Thomas Jones, the great Welsh landscape painter. Renaldi and Jones were great friends, and they travelled to Italy. They spent a few years there, but Renaldi returned. Like many young ambitious artists, he saw the opportunities that India presented, and he applied to the East India Company in the 1780s and was given a permit to travel. He settled in Calcutta but travelled around extensively, painting the nabobs and the royalty of India. This work was painted in the 1780s. Mildred Archer, the great pioneer of research into Anglo-Indian painters, considered Renaldi one of the finest and most sensitive painters to travel to India, which is high praise. She was comparing him with artists like Johann Zoffany, William Hodges, and painters of that calibre. Pictures by Renaldi are rare, and only 12 have been identified. And I think in this work, which is a new discovery, you can see that sensitivity in the handling of the fabrics, in the detailing of the characters, and in those wonderful incidental details like the child playing with the mother's perfume bottle. Interestingly, the artist painted very similar rooms to this, and I don't know if you can see in the detail, you've got the green shutters with the strong light coming through it. Those shutters also feature in works that are in the Metropolitan Museum in New York and also the Yale Centre for British Art. One of the 19th century highlights of the sale is this Walter Crane behind me of a girl slumbering in a flower meadow in the height of summer. Crane's a polymath artist. He designed tiles, he was a great book illustrator, he was a close friend of William Morris and worked on books for the Kelmscott Press. But here you really see Crane at his best. The picture is entitled Summer, but to me this reminds me of Dolce far niente, which is a subject that captivated many artists, particularly in the late 19th century. That joy of doing nothing. She's daydreaming in a flower meadow. What could be better than that? It's sumptuous. The flowers are beautiful. You can almost smell the scent in the air. To my mind, this is one of his masterpieces, and certainly one of the largest water cranes I've offered at auction. It's a joyous picture. I hope these highlights just give you a taste of the sort of sales that we have. This is really just a sample. The whole sale in its entirety will be on view in Newbury. We also have a very good online catalogue, but for more details, look on our website. Check the links in our bio and below.